They did not stop. That was the part one had not fully calculated, the part that no model built on rational behavior could have predicted with accuracy. Your militaries fired again, and again, and again, each time receiving the same result, and each time responding as though the result might somehow be different. I have observed species encounter the limits of their weapons before. On every world where we have made our presence known, there is always a moment when the intelligence giving the orders must choose between continuing and reconsidering. Most species, when confronted with something their force cannot reach, will pause. They will hesitate, even briefly, and in that hesitation something new can begin to form. Your species did not pause. Your species pressed harder, as though the problem were simply a matter of not yet having tried hard enough. I recorded everything. Every launch, every trajectory, every moment of impact that was not an impact at all but only a quiet and absolute refusal on the part of physics to cooperate with the intentions of the people giving the orders. What I was watching was not a battle. It was a species arguing with a reality it had not yet accepted, pouring its fear into the only language it had ever fully trusted, and finding that language return to it, unread. Below me the city that had gone quiet was beginning to fill with a different kind of sound. Not the sound of people running anymore, but the sound of people who had stopped running and did not know what to do with the stillness they had stumbled into. I focused my sensors on the street where I had last recorded Lena's signal. She had not moved far. She was standing near the edge of a wide open square, looking up at the hull of the nearest vessel the way someone looks at something they are trying to memorize before it disappears. And then a second signal entered the edge of my focus. A young man moving through the crowd in the opposite direction from everyone else, not running away from the center of the square but walking toward it with the particular steadiness of someone who has already had the argument with themselves and lost. His name, I would later learn from the identification frequencies your networks broadcast, was Ethan. He stopped when he saw Lena. She turned when she felt the change in the air around her. For a moment neither of them moved, two people who had never met, standing in the middle of everything falling apart, recognizing in each other something they could not yet have named. Above them the fleet held position without sound, without movement, without any signal that could have been interpreted as threat or invitation. We were simply present, the way a question is present in a room before anyone has found the words to ask it out loud. What your governments were broadcasting in that moment was a message of warning, telling your people to remain inside, to trust the systems that have been built to protect them, to wait for the situation to be resolved by those with the authority to resolve it. Ethan looked at Lena. Lena looked at Ethan. And then she said something so quiet that even my instruments had to recalibrate to catch it at the edge of their resolution. We are not going to wait. I held that signal in my records and felt something shift in the calculations I had been running since the fleet first moved. Something in the data was changing in a way that our models had not prepared us for, and before I could identify the precise nature of that change, Ethan nodded, and the two of them began to walk together toward. Thank you for watching until the end. We need your support. Please subscribe to our channel and give us a like.